gotta let the captain know. The seat of power.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you've come. My name is
They
Tyler
kinda look evil.
Zaparas, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours, and this is Commander Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind, and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illidians.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation, the reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's
They
true
look
or
very
not
similar
remains to be
race-wise.
seen. But either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and
It's almost like
this
they're
is
a cross
Sidron,
between
the
orcs
heroes
and
of the
elves.
revolt in the mines.
Oh, here comes the other ones.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
The haughty assholes are here now.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy?
Yep.
I don't know what we're walking into here, but that guy was something.
He certainly seems full of himself. No missing that. You could probably see it from orbit.
What a piece of work.
Remember, we are here at their invitation. We must remain deferential whenever possible.
Of course, but even that has its limits.
Weren't we here at the Hotari's invitation, not the Illyrians? They set up a throne. Bow. No bow. Kind of rude. And yeah, I did the same.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
They seem the type
The
that
honor is
respect
mine,
strength.
Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Illidian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
I get the sense she's cut from the same cloth as Galvin. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not
She
part
can
of...
speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Why are we walking all the way up?
Now then, one should know their place. What you might be somewhere else is not what you are here. Which is standing before a queen. And a queen deserves respect. A bow is not too much to ask. Is Hotari Prime, heart of the Hotari system?
My name is Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty. I prefer to be called by my name, not my species.
Then I suppose that makes us even. Commander Rydek.
Now about.
You are Kobliad. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable. Not unlike how we have been treated by the Alidians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Alidians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet!
How many other people died in those mines?
If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
If the opportunity presented itself, and I wish that it had, more than you can know, then I would right the wrong without hesitation. For the sake of the Kobliad, we suffered enough.
Of course you would. It would be foolish to do otherwise. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Alidians for decades, I would agree. It's entirely possible, if not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Alidian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. Don't tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Alidians? Can only be one or the other, not both.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. take back our minds by any means
Then
necessary.
you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
Not even from their system or their moon. From the
I
Hatari
suppose
moon.
there is
The
some
Lydians
sense
don't
to
have a
that.
right to it. They should be included in the trade, sure. They shouldn't be owning and running things and treating the others as slaves.
I
Should
hope
help
we
us
meet
ingratiate
again,
us.
Jara Ryder.
They told us to get ourselves ingratiated.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
Speak with members of each faction. Well, something tells me that they somehow have instigated the storm. If or not, maybe they're the reason why it's so amplified and behaving unusual. Speak with the members of each faction.
Soothing.
Okay, we can talk with these ones, but not this one. Nice view.
Such rough terrain. No wonder the Hotari are so tough. That must be Tau. The place it all started. An Elydian warship, the Zeldi. They must want the Hotari to know they can use it at any time. But why haven't they?
The storm, probably. We see nothing of... like the Hotari's ship?
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Elydians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
Even though the Hotari should have control of the mines, some of the Elydian claims are still valid.
There you're wrong, but we can agree to disagree.
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Elydians.
Not seized. Reclaimed.
Potato,
And
potato.
restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Elydians could even realize their worst nightmare was upon them.
I'm curious why the Elydians haven't fought back. They have the ability to retake the mines anytime they want.
Ability is one thing. Courage is another. The Elydians know any hostile action on their part will not end well. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Elydians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
I wouldn't say state of the art, But the Resolute is plenty capable and can hold its own against just about anything.
Let's hope so. Because at the moment, it's the only thing preventing them from wiping us off the map.
It is a science festival.
Cedron,
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
I like him.
Commander Rydek, I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
If anyone deserves thanks, it's Ambassador Spock. No one is more invested in negotiating a peaceful settlement to this conflict than he is.
I'm so glad. We need his help before the situation escalates further than it already has. It's been very trying. I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands. He's a miner, not a diplomat. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now, they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I take it they're against a negotiated peace with the Illidians.
Heroes tend to want more of what made them heroic. If it were up to them, they'd wage all-out war and bring ruin upon us all. My fear has been that the Illidians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Do you think it has something to do with the ion storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Illidians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference.
Maybe more advanced ships are more susceptible than the more simplistic.
Since the day of the
their
revolt,
people.
Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
Are you sure of this?
It's been the talk of the palace since the day of the revolt.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
I have a theory on what they found. I'm thinking it's like that one episode where we first meet the Ferengi at the beginning of Next Generation. There's that one of those Guardian systems. We know the Guardian's involved in this because we saw them in the trailer, right? I'm betting they found a Guardian system and convinced it to activate, and that's why the storms are so out of control, and that's how it was able to mess up the warp drive, because it was able to take the Enterprise and the Ferengi ship completely out of control, like out of bounds, right? Like it shut it down completely with like a power drain system that neither realized at first was coming from the planet. Eventually, Data figured it out. But if we can convince, if that's the case, then we know why Maybe the Elydians knew about it there slumbering, and they know that with the storm this way, it must have woke up, and that is why they're so hesitant to attack, because it could send more like it could bring more to bear than just what it's doing so far. That's just my theory, though.
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this whole time. I figured in the interest of fairness, I should offer another perspective.
Of course.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality, as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Elydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. But clearly, you weren't aware.
We are and will remain completely neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution to this conflict.
As is ours. Of course, the question is, at what price? Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Elydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
Something tells me there's more to the story. So what really happened?
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
You said the Hotari were primitive.
Well, they are.
Except for the part about weaponizing ion storms.
If you'll
I'm with you, Minson.
Commander Ryder.
Why they think they're essential to it. It could be cut out. I think that's just their bluster, but it's more them saying they won't allow it, not that they're needed for it. So they're probably going to be like if anybody tries to cancel it, or if you try to do it without us, our ships are going to be involved. And they're supposed to be fairly advanced, right? So maybe it'd be enough to be like not worth the trouble for Starfleet. Anyone else we can talk to? Yep. Especially since they were only in charge and more than just the middleman when they basically had these people under their boot, right? Said report to the captain. Does that mean I have to go in? Like, it has no indication where it wants me to go. I don't have a tricord. Oh, now it does. Okay, so I can press left trigger and get indicators.
They seem proud of their culture. Pride can lead to rash action.
Yeah, but how many cultures, like this is their like head of state building. How many organizations and cultures don't have the flags like raised at that location, right? Anything else that I didn't look at? You have no flag anywhere for your country standing in front of its buildings? Like the UN has the flags of all the constituent members. The USA has their flag everywhere, but especially at the White House.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Illidians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
I hope she doesn't get hurt getting us those tricorder readings.